Hey, deserving listeners, sister wives, let's watch.
Because it was really obvious to me she was doing nothing but her best to be compliant to what our family structure was.
But he thinks you and Janelle were a bully to Robyn. And so he feels like he's got to protect her.
I know, right? I have looked back and I've dissected my relationship with Robyn. And
Did he say that Christine was a bully to Robyn? I don't know if did he say that? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he said that. And you know, both can be true. He can be wrong about Christine, but right about the tabloids.
there were a few conversations that I had with her that I guess could have been more aggressive, but we talked about it and we worked it.
Yeah, I don't think Christine bullied her. I think that it wouldn't be hard from Christine and maybe Janelle, but Christine's perspective to interpret Robyn as coming across as a little superior. The way that Robyn talks, and certainly there are sometimes, you know, during the past couple of years, during the tough years, that she would absolutely say things that were superior, you know, like, you can't communicate, you guys don't communicate, meaning that she can. And I've already been over that. But, and there were early fights, like when they were talking about the finances and whatnot, where Robyn would come across as kind of a know-it-all. And yeah, there could be something there. But I think it is possible that if there was some sort of God view of the entire situation, that among all the different factors at play, that it could be said that Christine didn't put enough effort into trying to build a bond with Robyn. The way that Mary put a lot of effort into building a bond with her, seemingly looking back, because Mary might have felt like on the outs with the other sister wives at the time. And so she's like, well, maybe the new girl will be my friend, that kind of thing. I mean, that's a simplistic way of looking at it. Now, is it reasonable to expect that all the sister wives are going to gel with Robyn? No. Is it even reasonable to expect that they have to reach out to her? Not really. But, you know, there could be something there. And Christine could have been affected by what she said when she saw Robyn and Cody together, how they seemed like they were soulmates and in love, something that she had never experienced before in her life. And she had never seen him that way with any of the sister wives. And she's like, oh, I want more. I want that. Can we have that, you know, Cody? So, you know, she was primed to just be like, I don't like this new one. This isn't pleasant. And that's understandable. But yeah, I wouldn't say that Robyn was bullied anyway. You know, in the first number of years, you know, maybe 10 years, it was, if anything, it was par for the course, because when Christine entered the family, she felt mistreated by Mary and Janelle. And when Robyn entered the family, she felt mistreated. I think the myth that is natural for some of the sister wives to have is that, I feel like I'm being rejected or mistreated, and no one else is being treated this way. But the truth is they were all being treated that way. It just wasn't out in the open, you know?
And I can remember a few conversations that I had with her that I guess could have been more aggressive, but we talked about it and we worked it out. Robyn, one time I offended her with something that I said. She came over to my house. We talked about it.
Okay, this is good. This is an actual example. Maybe it'll sway me one way or the other.
For a while, and I thought we were fine after that. And then I heard later about it again and again and again. And I'm like, I thought we were fine. I thought we talked about it and it was over.
So what was that thing?
It's just so stupid.
Okay, I'm really curious about this. You know, it's through Christine's eyes, but, you know, she seems like a credible narrator. She says, I heard about it again and again and again. I wonder who she heard it from, because I would put money that it was Cody, not Robyn, that was bringing it up again and again and again. I don't know that, but let's hear this.
It's this stupid personality test. I delved into it because I was fascinated with the different kind of
personality test, right up my alley. Now, the vast, if not every personality test that people take outside of the psychologist's office is complete bullshit. I mean, I hate to say it, but the Myers-Briggs is not something that, well, of all the psychologists that I know who do personality testing, I only know one psychologist that occasionally uses the Myers-Briggs, and she doesn't formally do psychological assessment. So I don't know anyone who does formal psychological assessment that uses the Myers-Briggs. I'm sure they are out there, but it's a consensus in psychology that Myers-Briggs is, it's fine if you just want to have a little fun with something, and it's better than other systems. And there are some dimensions on the Myers-Briggs that do hold water. Particularly the introversion extroversion scale does seem to, but it depends on the test. The Myers-Briggs, there's a lot of different versions of the test. Anyway, having said that, for myself, when I take the Myers-Briggs test, I can't remember which one it is. It's the teacher. Is it ENFJ or something? And when I read the profile, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of me. At least the last time I read it 15 years ago. So it's not that it's not useful. It's not that it can't be powerful for some people. Another test that people use a lot is the Enneagram. And again, I did a whole deep dive on it. You can listen to that. And I've talked about, and it's complicated because it has to do with statistics and personality research. In a nutshell, personality at its foundation is hard to define. Just trying to get a scientific, concrete definition of even what personality is hard, let alone trying to categorize personality. And the effort of categorizing most things, including personality, is to try to predict behavior in the future. If you are an Enneagram 4, then that means when you're in this situation, you will do X, Y, and Z because that's what Enneagram 4s do. That does not, when they research this, that is not demonstrated. When you have someone's profile and then you, in a lab, put them in a situation, you can't predict, they are firmly like a 4-2 on the Enneagram, and then you put them in a lab situation and you take a bunch of people and you say, well, the 4-2 should do this and the 6-7 should do that. And that just doesn't happen. It's just kind of like random. So what is it? Now, again, can the Enneagram be helpful? Absolutely. My wife took the Enneagram when she was at a workshop, an art workshop. And when she told me what she tested as, and I was like, it's kind of you. and it's a tool that can be very helpful because it gives you like strengths, but also like, well, here's your, weakness, or here's the downside to this profile. And it fit, I thought. And so, take that for what it's worth. But anyway, so she's about to say, for the record, the gold standard for personality testing, objective personality testing, is the MMPI-2, maybe the MCMI, and the PAI. So those are the ones that psychologists use, and the public doesn't have access to those because of copyright and also ethics. So if you were to go to a psychologist, or back when I would do forensic work, I would either administer the MMPI-2 or the PAI and maybe the MCMI if I was thinking about personality disorders. So, and even then, the results of those tests do not mean they have X, Y, and Z. You have to do interviews and other testing and talk to collaterals and stuff. So even then, we would never take the results of the MMPI-2 and say, like, they have this. Whereas these tests, you just self-report on them, it spits out a thing, and then that's the thing, which is absurd when you are when you do forensic psychology work like I do, you just know. But anyway, what's interesting is that when people take these tests, a profile is provided, and the individuals are allowed to reflect on themselves. And that can be very functional, even if the results aren't really scientific. but she is saying that she did, personality tests, which, boy, I mean, I didn't think I would be able to get something like this. I don't know what she's going to say here, but boy, would I like to get a personality test rundown of, an actual personality or something along those lines for everyone in the family, because it would really shed some light and their own reflections on those profiles. So this is my dream. Let's see what she says.
Personalities that we all have. So I was talking to her about hers, and instantly I felt the tension. I'm like, what did I say?
Wait, so let's rewind. But she says, doing a personality test, and I told her hers. Christine told Robyn what she was. So did Robyn take the test and then Christine tabulated it? It sounds like that's what happened.
And it was over.
So what was that thing?
It's just so stupid. It's this stupid personality test. I delved into it because I was fascinated with the different kind of personalities that we all have. So I was talking to her about hers, and instantly I felt the tension. I'm like,
okay, re-listening to that, it sounds like there wasn't even a test. It sounds like she was maybe reading a book or an article or something about personality types. I don't know what system she was looking at. And then she decided what Robyn's personality type was, which, is one angle of assessment. And then she says, I immediately felt tension. So that sounds like it was uninvited analysis. I don't know.
what did I say?
Well, what did you say about her?
Okay. And her personality type loves drama. They love drama. They love talking about their drama. So other people.
And you're boggled as to why there was tension? Because, yeah. So I don't even think the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram talks about someone liking drama. Maybe they do. But it certainly is not a valid conclusion psychologically to say, I mean, imagine I administer the MMPI-2, the MCMI, and I do a lot of interviews, and I'm like, diagnosis, you like drama. What does that even mean? So, yeah. So I'm guessing that she read some sort of profile, and yeah, could I imagine a helpful system having a light side and a dark side, and on the light side, on the dark side, it's like you like drama. On the light side is that you are very intuitive and empathetic, and you're in tune with people around you, something like that. In all likelihood, if a personality system had that conclusion, it would not actually be a scientific conclusion to make. But yeah. So she's like, well, I've determined, for Robyn, she's going to be suspicious of Christine. Now, maybe Christine was trying to be nice.
With the different kind of personalities that we all have. So I was talking to her about hers, and instantly I felt the tension. I'm like, what did I say?
Well, what did you say about her?
Okay. And her personality type loves drama. They love drama. They love talking about their drama. So other people can feel how they feel.
You could say that. I wouldn't say that about Christine, but if we're going to talk about people that like to talk about how they feel, Christine likes to talk about how she feels, which is a good thing. So I would call it drama. I would just call, Mary and Janelle, particularly Mary, at least it doesn't look like they're as comfortable talking about how they feel. Christine, in the edit, looks like she is the most comfortable talking about how she feels, and maybe Robyn is, tied for first or a close second or something. It's not drama. It's just why would you even word it that way? There's another word, the way that I worded it. Anyway, and maybe there's some validity to that, but it doesn't. And I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll hear from Robyn.
On the flip side, They love listening to everybody's drama. They love it. It is what they do. They live for that connect.
Just the word drama. I'm going to take a guess and say that whatever personality test or system she was using did not use the word drama. That doesn't sound like a personality test that would be proliferated. And it probably, I don't know, said something along the lines of, this personality type likes to emote and show others how they feel, and they are not shy about imposing or dragging other people, talking about what their struggles, whether or not other people want to hear or not. And on the light side, they're very good about listening because they care, because, and that, one could argue, is a personality trait or a tendency. And I would say that would be true about Robyn. I would say that Christine actually is in that direction. She's shown more and more of that tendency as she has divorced. There's been conversations with Janelle, even with Cody. As she was breaking up with Cody, she was seemingly very comfortable sticking with Cody as he was having his ups and downs, without reacting. She seemed very comfortable, and she was curious, and she would reflect well. There was that moment where she's like, I think you're just sad. I think you're grieving or whatever. Anyway, so we're hearing that, according to her, she's I think interpreting it as drama, and maybe for her the word drama doesn't have the negative connotation. It kind of sounds like she is framing it that way, but not everyone would have it that. And so she's saying, on the positive side, well, even the way she frames it, it's like let's rewind.
What did you say about her?
Okay. In her personality type loves drama. They love drama. They love talking about their drama, so other people can feel how they feel. On the flip side, they love listening to everybody's drama. They love it. It is what they do.
They love it. Now, I don't know what she means by that, but it still doesn't sound positive. If she had said, on the flip side, they love to care about other people and be a listener, but that doesn't sound like that's, unless she has a different meaning for drama. And I guess I should define what I think she means by drama, or what people typically mean. Drama is a word that people use for things that are not important, and it is drummed up emotionality, and people who are dramatic, right? People who are self-centered, people who want to be the main character, right? Isn't that how? I mean, I'm speaking off the top of my head, but yeah. So they love to listen to other people's drama. It doesn't sound like a positive thing. Now, might this even be true? She knows her better, way better than I would. Could be true. But what I'm commenting on is that she's confused why Robyn would have tension around this. And so what does that say? Who knows? Maybe she's right. Maybe she's even being nice about what she's saying about Robyn. Maybe Robyn's way worse than that. Who knows? But let's go with the thought experiment, or the scenario, hypothetically, because none of us would ever know, that Robyn, that it is unfair to go that far with it. Now, if Christine was trying to hurt her feelings, then that would be one thing. But it sounds like she wasn't. So what could that be a result of? Well, the way Christine has come across from the very beginning is that of, and this isn't an insult, but that of a youngest child. Not that she's immature, but that she seems the least amount concerned about taking care of other people's feelings, which is a strength. I mean, she has empathy, and she absolutely cares, particularly about her kids, right? But I just remember the very first season, she just, even though she's basically the same age, I mean, she's a little younger, but basically the same age, she came across like she was the youngest sister. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a possibility that she's just not used to being overly concerned, which is a pro and a con, about how she might be affecting other people. Not that she's mean. She's from all I could, particularly before they moved to Arizona, all 5 of the adults in the family seemed very redeemable to me and had a lot of positive qualities and were doing a lot of things. And, the way it looked anyway is a lot of the kids were adjusting well, which is the most important thing. Anyway, so there's that. And another possibility is that she really just doesn't like Robyn, and she's talked about how she was really jealous and might have been overly biased against her. And so to her, in relation to what she's thinking about Robyn, this is definitely a scale toward the nicer. And so to her, she's like, what's the big deal? I'm not telling you what I really think about you. So that could be another factor. She might be affected by the tabloids as well and think, well, it's obvious. I mean, everyone's saying, or me and Janelle are talking and you're like, that sort of thing. But I'll put up there on the hypothesis list that she just doesn't think of the word drama in the same way. I don't know. Because she seems like she's trying to say, no, I'm not, this isn't good or bad. I'm just saying this is the deal. All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. I wish you well, and I hope you take care of yourself because you deserve it. You do. You really do.